Welcome to Season 4, Episode 10 of the Outlap F1 podcast. This is the Australian Grand Prix preview. I am your host, James, along with my wonderful co-host, Andy. Andy, I think we might actually get an Australian Grand Prix this year. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's looking really good. Amazingly, all the freight and all of the teams and everybody's made it, and there's hardly a mask in sight. So I think we're looking pretty good.
It feels like forever ago when we found out with a few hours ago that the race would be canceled. So
that was a dark day, not only for Formula One, but like that news broke, and like then all the governors and everybody put us on lockdown. And yeah, that was just an unforgettable day, but we are so glad to be so far beyond it now.
Yes, we've had a lot of good Formula One since then. And I am excited because it looks like this season's only going to get better and better. I do love this track. Mostly because I just love Australia, I think. So, but before we get into any more of that, I do have to remind everybody you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Reddit, and YouTube at Outlap F1 Podcast. Of course, you can check out our link tree on our Twitter profile page. Do us a solid and click like and subscribe on YouTube, or click the 5-star button if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any other kind of podcast app that allows you to rate us. That really helps us out. You can email the show at chatnow@outlapf1.com. Of course, you can visit the website that I've been maintaining for now at www.outlapf1.com. Of course, you can check out the F1 for Beginners episode back on episode 4 of this season. We do one every year, so if you're new to the sport, make sure you go check that out. Kind of explains everything from soup to nuts. You can also check out Relap with Deanna. Her Saudi Arabian reaction is up, and that reminds me, I have to go watch that one. I'm way behind from being on vacation for a couple of weeks there. My podcasts are behind, Andy, and now my YouTube videos are too. I'm falling apart over here. But Outlap F1 Nation stepping up yet again. Love to see it. Andy, tell me more.
Yeah, a bit of breaking news. We got this just a couple hours ago. So congratulations to Quentin Worden for becoming the latest and greatest member of the Outlap F1 Nation. And he joins such distinguished and wonderful people as Cody Walsh, Kevin Kelly, Regan Stanzik, Richard Cole, Travis Colby, Timothy Brown, Hillary LaRose, Mary Brown, Jonathan Scott, and Matt Polanski from the Red Sector MotoGP podcast. So Quentin, welcome aboard. We are, again, every time we get one of these, I am so humbled that the people actually want to do this. So thank you. We will do our best to put those funds to good use. I guarantee it.
Well put, Andy. It's not often that I am humbled, but I am humbled whenever somebody steps up and donates. So thank you, Quentin. Truly appreciate it. I hope you continue to enjoy the show. You can also help the show out by visiting manscaped.com and using code OUTLAP, that's OUTLAP, all one word, for 20% off and free shipping. I also have to mention and promote the Outlap F1 Fantasy League. There's a code for that in the show notes. We are now 2 races in, so a quick rundown on where we stand. Number 1 in the league right now, Andy, help me out. I think it was Rob G. Is that right?
Yeah.
Alpino, he had a cool name.
Alpino Grigio.
Very good. Second place, you have Timothy B. with Leclero Dynamics, which I really enjoy that name. So that's a close neck and neck battle there, 571 to 570. As far as the show hosts go, Andy, you currently lead the way in 20th place amongst us hosts. I'm behind you in 29th place. Deanna then in 36th. And then John, of course, pulling a Mazepin and somehow is 44th out of only 43 entrants. So,
well, it's actually 51, but yeah.
What I mean to say is he's in the rear there for the show, guys. So hopefully this will be some payback from him winning the predictions challenge last season.
The question is, now does the winner of the F1 Fantasy League get that trophy? That's the question.
Oh,
because I'd like to see John have to go ship it.
Yes, we should plan on that for sure. You know what, Andy? We're about to get into news, but first I gotta say, so I started the season off and I said to myself, I'm going to be positive about Mattia Binotto, and so far working out pretty good. So now I'm trying to be positive about everything and totally change my outlook here, and that kind of starts with what we're going to start when we go to the news. So one big story. It's not wasn't a surprise. We kind of knew it was coming for a while, but it is now finally official. Bright light city, gonna set my soul, gonna set my soul on fire. Love it. F1 is returning to Las Vegas, Andy. Tell me more.
Yes, they are. In what was a very prime time on the strip press conference that was very well attended with some very high ups, they unveiled their 6.12 kilometer, 14 turn street circuit in the heart of downtown Las Vegas. And they are going to be screaming approximately 200 miles an hour going right past the Bellagio fountain. You could not order it any better or any bigger. There will be glitz. There will be glam. Top speeds are expected to hit around 212 miles per hour. Interesting in that F1 and Liberty Media are promoting this themselves. There's not an outside consortium necessarily doing it. They've partnered with Live Nation Entertainment and the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, as well as Caesars Entertainment, MGM, Wynn Las Vegas, presenting partners MSG, Sphere, Resorts World Las Vegas, and the Venetian Resorts. So these are all of the big names down the strip in Las Vegas. So it's going to be over the top. It's going to be huger than anything that they want to do. And I can't wait for it, to be honest. Having been there a few times, it's kind of a dream come true for me. I would also bookmark this website. And I would also actually, if you are considering going, I would definitely bookmark this website and sign up. F1LasVegasGrandPrix.com is the site. You do have to sign up and you have to confirm your email. I've done it on 2 different email accounts. So I'm praying to God that when tickets come available, I hope to be the first one in line because I'm in on this one.
Yeah, I am beyond stoked. It's going to be American as fuck. I mean, I can't think of a better place than Vegas for an F1 race. And like, I was real positive on it from the beginning. So I think Las Vegas is a great place for a race as long as they are on the strip, and they're all up on the strip.
Yep.
That straight looks insane. And this is kind of what I was talking about. I'm just going to be positive because there's been a lot of complaints about the track. I don't care about any of that because I think the festival, the spectacle is going to be top notch. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun race. And I'm not going to let any of the negative comments bring me down. There's complaints that, the U.S. gets a third race now. I mean, sorry.
Well, we are kind of bigger. We're the biggest emerging F1 market. It would make sense that the American company that owns Formula One would want to tap into that untapped potential. And look, I mean, I understand. My counter to those types of arguments, and I've read a lot of the same ones that you probably have, James, is, look, they've said that they were going to protect their historical races, and they've done so. Monza has a new deal. Silverstone has a new deal. I mean, the ones that should be kind of nervous, maybe Monaco, because they've kind of been sitting on their laurels for a while. And that's fine, if we can get that consortium to raise their game. I think that's what the messaging from Liberty is everybody's got to step up because we're going full gusto here. You also noticed, Circuit of the Americas decided really, really quickly, we're building some sort of an amusement park right as this announcement was coming out. So, it's all about raising the bar. It's about raising the competition. I think each F1 venue will be self-sustaining, and that's what we all want. And they're going to be spread out amongst different parts of the calendar. I mean, you're going to have your Miami race in May, and then, you'll have F1 in North America again for Canada in June, which is good. And then the COTA race in October, they've kind of, established that part of the calendar as kind of being theirs. And then this race will be sometime in November, more than likely Thanksgiving weekend, which would be, logistically kind of fun to try to pull that off just with all the transportation issues going on in the U.S. right now. But I think they'll be able to pull it off. But that's, taking advantage of a holiday weekend and packing them in because it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and it's 3 different parts of the calendar, 3 different parts of the country. I mean, if you don't live here, you don't realize how big of a country this is and how different the country is in different parts of it. So, I mean, Texas alone is bigger than like half of Europe probably. So we've got plenty of space to handle 3 races. We
Yeah.
got plenty of fans, plenty of new fans.
It would actually be a longer plane ride for me to go to Vegas than it would for me to go to Austin or Miami, which is kind of ironic, is us being in the middle of the country. But in terms of the track layout, I mean, I think they did the best that they possibly could with what they had, especially considering they're using already established roads, and they're not trying to build anything gargantuanly new. Let's see how it races before we actually judge the thing. Let's see how it goes. These cars
I'm the
are
same way now,
really
especially
cool.
on Miami after the video that was shared a couple days ago. It was on Twitter. I mean, that again, it just looks badass.
Yeah,
like it looks like it's gonna be so much fun there. It's super expensive, and Vegas is probably gonna be even more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically going to take.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, it's just how it is. Like you go to Vegas, and like to me, money isn't even real anymore. It's just, and if you start to worry about how much you're spending, then you're not going to have a good time.
No, exactly. I mean, what you do is you bring whatever you're going to bring, and you leave your credit cards, except for one emergency one to get you out of a jam.
Yeah,
and you know what the limit is on that. You leave that all in the safe in the room, and you go and you live off whatever you're going to bring, and it's okay. Like every time I've gone, I said, if I come back with nothing, it means I had a really, really good time.
Exactly,
because I wanted to keep doing things. So it's not for those on a budget. That's probably not for you. There are other options if you want to go to see a Grand Prix more on a budget. But probably Vegas is probably not going to be your sip of tea. Let's put it that way.
Very true. But yeah, I'm pumped. I think it's great for Americans in F1 and for growing the sport here. So hopefully we'll be celebrating an American team here fairly soon. But who knows?
Well, we've got one. Right. And they look spry.
Well,
they look spry so far.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Fair. Let's take a quick break, though. I'm an idiot, and I didn't plug my computer in, Andy. So before it dies, I think we should take a quick break.
All right, come on back. We will rescue James's computer.
Welcome back to Season 4, Episode 10 of the Outlap F1 Podcast. I'm your host, James, along with my co-host, Andy. And so we're going to throw the green flag and talk about the Albert Park track facts. And for that, I'll hand it off to you, Andy.
Yeah, so 2 years in waiting. It's been a while since we've been here, but we are going back. We are back at Melbourne, Australia, and it will feature 58 laps on a track length of 5.278 kilometers or 3.279 miles. Our tire selections are the C2, the C3, and the C5. It's the first time Pirelli is skipping a layer of compound, so we are getting the C2, C3, and C5. So the middle range and then the softest. So I assume that would be for qualifying, but we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how that gets used throughout the weekend. Our track characteristics, traction is rated at a 3 out of 5, braking 3 out of 5, lateral load 3 out of 5, tire stress 3 out of 5. Our track evolution, which is our new category for 22, is rated at a 4 out of 5, asphalt grip 2 out of 5, asphalt abrasion 2 out of 5, and downforce is a 2 out of 5. And we thank the good folks at Pirelli Motorsport for those track facts. Our lap records, our qualifying lap record is a 1 minute 20.486 set by Lewis Hamilton in 2019. That is on the old configuration, not this one. This one does not have a current lap record. The race lap record is a 124.125. That was set by the great Michael Schumacher in 2004. And again, that is on the old configuration. The most wins at this track is dominated by Schumacher with 4 wins. In second place is Vettel with 3, Button with 3, Lewis Hamilton with 2, and Kimi Räikkönen also chimes in with 2. In terms of constructor wins at this track, it is a Ferrari and McLaren dead heat. One may have the chance to break that record. I don't think the other one will have the chance to break that record this weekend. But they are both on 12 wins apiece. Williams is in third place with 6. Mercedes is in fourth with 4. And in fifth place is Renault with 2 wins apiece in 05 and 06. As for what this circuit is like, as a temporary facility, Albert Park can be quite bumpy, although there was a lot of resurfacing done for 2022. That will no doubt improve matters, while the circuit at the start of the weekend can often be slippery, rubbering in as the sessions progress. It is also a circuit that requires a well-sorted chassis with several spots on the track where the drivers require a reactive front end to allow them to chuck it into a corner. Melbourne is also one of the faster tracks on the calendar, with Lewis Hamilton's 2019 pole lap set at an average of over 235 kilometers an hour. In terms of weather for the weekend, it is looking to be dry. Qualifying will have a mix of clouds, but mainly sunshine. High of 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds out of the north or northeast at 5 to 10, and only a 10% chance of rain. For race day, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. High of 79 degrees. Winds north, northwest, again out of the north, northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Only a scant 8% chance of rain. James.
Thank you, Andy. So speaking of the circuit, one of the topics of conversation on Twitter just the last couple of days has been the DRS zones this year. So we're going to actually have 4 DRS zones. Where do you fall for that, Andy? Pro or
well, I mean, we've seen how powerful in this new formula some of the DRS zones can be, and it depends on kind of how they are laid out. 2 of them are kind of bit in some of the twisty bits between what is now turn 8 and 9. So that's kind of a long, curvy type section. So I'm not necessarily sure how much overtaking you're going to get done. Between 10 to 11, 11's going into a hard braking zone. That's a very 90-degree right-hander, so that could definitely feature some overtaking there. You've got your main straight, of course, coming out of turn 14, going cross, start, finish. Going into turn 1, that could be a good prime opportunity for some overtaking. And then right after that, here's your move and counter move part between turns 2 and 3. So yeah, from 14 going into 1, and then again from 2 and 3. I think that's where you're going to see your move happen and your potential counter move also happen as well.
Yeah, I think I'm cool with the 4 DRS zones. Should make things exciting, especially with what you're saying with the move and counter move. Show me more of Leclerc and Verstappen going at it, please, and I'll be a happy, happy boy. So now let's get into our qualifying predictions, or our race predictions, I should say, and we will start with qualifying. Andy, why don't we go ahead with you first?
Well, before we got to set the mood. We got to do this.
Oh.
Sorry to cut it off.
Excellent.
Didn't know exactly where to cut it off, but there we go. The joys of the semi-live radio podcast. So if you want to go ahead and take off our security.
All right. Let's see if I can get this here. Where's my highlighter? Boom. There we go.
There we go. I love it. So we are apt to start with the qualifying pole sitter, and we will start with those who are not present. So Deanna is going with a Max Verstappen taking the pole, and John is in agreement with her. She has Max Verstappen taking the pole. I guess with you wearing all that red, it's probably time for me to get on some of this hype train. Pains me to do it, but I do think he does race well here. I think this will be Charles Leclerc with a pole position. James, what's your thought?
You know, it's rare that I disagree with you, Andy, and now is not going to be one of those times. Let's go, Charles.
All right, so we got 2 for Verstappen and 2 for Charles Leclerc. So our qualifying pole lap time. Ooh, we've got some differences here. I like this. So John is going with a 119.411. Deanna is going very, very quick. But this is a new layout, so anything is possible here. She's got a 1:15 dead. That would be a fast lap.
I'm not sure what to think right now, but I don't know if I'm nervous or Nostradamus. I could have sworn it was either a video I watched or an article I read about the layout, and they were saying like adding 5 seconds.
Well, that'd be interesting.
But maybe I misread that. But I have it at a minute 24.326.
Oh, you're going really slow.
Yeah.
For qualifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm closer to John, but oh boy, this is going to be fun doing the delta on this one. So I'm at a minute 19.965. So this is darts at a dartboard. We will
Yeah.
see who comes out on top of this one. We have not prices righted each other at all on this. We have lots of times in both directions. So we will see. This will be interesting.
Yeah. My fastest lap is pretty high too, but we'll get to that in a minute. For the podium for Sunday or Saturday night for some of us, Deanna has Leclerc, Verstappen, and Sainz. John has Leclerc, Verstappen, and Sainz. I have Leclerc, Verstappen, and Sainz. Andy,
I
think
I guess I have to be the hipster. It didn't serve me well last week, but why not try it one more time? So I have Verstappen, Leclerc, and Sainz. So we all agree that Carlos Sainz will more than likely now not finish P3 because we've all said it. But I do think it's that 2-horse race right now until Sainz can kind of get on par with the car. I tend to agree that he's just that little bit off right now. So it may change here, but I'm not predicting it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you guys had a little bit of a conversation about that on the review episode that I was listening to, and I agree that I think at some point Sainz will get it in a place where he can compete for race wins. I think he'll get a race win this year. However, I think and kind of hope not to to be honest with you, that Leclerc is going to build up a big enough lead where he's going to get the team orders and the favorable upgrades and things like that. If it was a 50-50, I'd lean towards Leclerc. But if he's got a decent lead in the Drivers' Championship, then I could definitely see them easily favoring him. But I definitely see Sainz getting a win at some point this season, just not yet.
Yeah, fair.
All right, so fastest lap and driver, Deanna, speaking of Sainz, has Sainz going 1 minute, 20 seconds flat. John has Leclerc going 1:22.920. Andy, who do you got and what time you got?
I've got Max Verstappen taking the fastest lap on a 1:23.245.
Okay, and I am even slower or even further behind you guys than I was for qualifying. I do have Sergio Checo Perez. I think he'll get I think the front four are going to be far enough ahead of the fifth and sixth guys that he'll be able to stop late and get a fastest lap of 1:29.326. Now, I just really think it's going to be a lot faster than that, but at this point, it is what it is.
We shall see. That is the brilliance of the security features of our predictions game.
Yes.
Especially with new tracks.
Yeah.
So I think this is our
good, except for the person that isn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last predictions, I was the outlier on everything. It didn't exactly work all that great out for me, but who knows? You may be sitting really pretty come Sunday night and have a big smirk on your face for it. So who knows?
All right. So bonus picks. I think. Did you pick them this week?
Yeah, I did because I came in last time.
Sorry.
So I went with positions 6, 7, and 8. I love the midfield. I always think it's fun to try to predict it because it's really hard to predict it. So I will open up, and I'm going with P6. Fernando Alonso needs a better result after last time out. Lando Norris, I'm praying to God as I'm rocking my new McLaren merch this weekend, hoping P7. That's probably as good as I can hope for at this point. And Pierre Gasly, who also could use a good result. So I would like to see some guys who need some good results come good this weekend. So Alonso 6, Norris 7, Gasly 8.
Okay. We have John having Gasly 6, Ocon 7th, and Danny Ricciardo in 8th. Deanna has Bottas in 6th, Gasly in 7th, Alonso in 8th. I have George Russell in 6th. I've got K-Mag in 7th. I think Haas usually does pretty well here, assuming they can have a pit stop without any blunders. And then I've actually got Danny Rick in 8th as well. I think he's actually going to have a good home race and steal some points there in 8th place. But it was, I mean, kudos to you for picking 6, 7, 8, because that was definitely difficult. Easily could have gotten Bottas in there on mine. Alonso and Ocon were right up there too in my brain.
you pick one and then you go, well, what about this one? What about this one? And that's the brilliance of at least what we've got going on right now in the midfield is it could be any combination of the three.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. All right. So now for our prop bet, which I think you also came up with. So
okay. What I was going for is I'm seeing now these get revealed. Apparently, I have not communicated very well to anybody in my group chat. It was supposed to be the first engine, as in engine make, to suffer some sort of reliability issue on race day. So that would mean I would have expected the answers to be Mercedes, Ferrari, or Red Bull powertrains. Or Renault. I did not get any of those in the responses. I've said Ferrari because I'm thinking Haas here, and I'm thinking something bad always happens to poor Gunther Steiner when he comes to Australia. I think they will show well, but something is going to happen, and I think a Ferrari goes boom in the Haas over this weekend. So that's what I'm taking there. John, he picked Yuki Tsunoda. I was not asking for a driver. So I guess he's therefore going with Red Bull powertrains.
He's trying to get bonus points.
Yeah, exactly. So he, thinks the bad luck could continue. That is definitely true. Deanna is going with Esteban Ocon. So I guess she's going with Renault. So we do have some differences of opinion here. So we've got one Red Bull powertrains, one Ferrari, one Renault. James, what you got?
We are guaranteed to have a winner on the prop bet because I'm going with Mercedes.
Oh, there we go.
Technically, I guess we could have no retirees.
Correct. That's about the only way we all miss out on this one.
And just to clarify, it's any kind of retiree. It doesn't have to be an engine.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an engine-related one. It's just whatever the first make
I
to go out.
I did write down Merc just to be clear.
Okay.
So I was following your rules.
So we've got everybody. We all think somebody's going to have a reliability thing. If nobody retires, we're going to look really kind of dumb. But I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so at all.
All right. So we don't have to play the fail horn. Look at that. Look at us. Look at us. We managed to do this. 3 races in. We finally managed to do this. So our weekend session times, and they are going to be a bit different. Obviously, it's because we are in a different part of the world. Therefore, all the session times are very, very different. So free practice 1 kicks off tomorrow, Thursday evening, 10:55 p.m. Eastern. That's on ESPN News on your TV, as well as ESPN3, and of course, F1 TV if you choose to subscribe. FP2 kicks off 1:55 a.m. Eastern. That's on ESPN2. The expanded Sky coverage that ESPN is offering also has the F1 show. That's at Friday, 3:10 a.m. Eastern on your ESPN3 streaming platform. FP3 kicks off Friday night. Bit of late prime time, if you want to call it that. 11 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Qualifying should be a very fun session to tune into. If you can do it so live, 1:55 a.m. Eastern. That's on ESPN2. Ted's Quali Notebook, which is something we all have access to now in the United States. So that's a good thing to go check out. Will kick off around 3:30 a.m. Eastern. So it's whenever qualifying really ends. And usually after the drivers' interviews and stuff end. So around 3:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN3 streaming platform. I think that's also going to be on demand, so you can catch it if you miss it live. Pre-race Sundays or Saturday ceremonies going into Sunday. Those kick off 11:30 p.m. Eastern. That's on ESPN News. Again, also ESPN3. And then the race itself kicks off properly 12:55 a.m. Eastern on Big ESPN. They have post-race stuff also going on their ESPN3 platform. The checkered flag post-race, whenever ESPN cuts off, that's what kicks on right after that. So head over to ESPN3 around 3 a.m. Eastern if you're so inclined. And Ted's Rates Notebook will be available right around 4 a.m. Eastern on ESPN3 if you're hashtag up all night, because it's Australia and it's what we do. However, if you can't quite do it live, and I understand it, it's a tough ask. It's a tough Grand Prix weekend to sometimes catch everything live. There are going to be some rebroadcasts. 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2, 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN News, and again, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And there'll be full race broadcasts, and they won't show who won in the little crawler, which is nice.
Oh, that's awesome. I think you're the same as me, Andy, but I actually love the Australian GP, the Chinese Grand Prix when we have it, the Japanese Grand Prix, because I love the midnight 1 a.m. races.
Oh, yeah.
You just stay up late Saturday night, have a few cocktails, turn on the race. Like, I'm a huge fan of that. We didn't really mention that part about Vegas too, but they're saying
It will be
it's going to be
Vegas is going to be a
too.
Saturday night race. So, I mean, it'll happen like if you're in the UK at like 3 or 4 a.m. on your Sunday. But I think it's the first time in over 10 years, I forget what the stat was, somebody mentioned it, that F1 will not be racing exclusively on a Sunday starting next year. So, I mean, kind of get used to this, as we continue to expand the calendar and go to other places. So, I mean, my personal strategy, if you're not one to be able to stay up all night, get a quick power nap in around 10 o'clock, 10 to midnight or whatever, at least for race day, catch maybe about the last half an hour of the pre-race stuff, and then you're pretty much good to go. And then we will be back to recap it all Sunday night. It will feel like a long time since the race ends to when we actually record and talk about it. But we hope to have everybody on the podcast for Sunday night. So, yeah, James, any other final thoughts?
No, I'm excited for the Australian Grand Prix. I'm excited for a couple late nights, maybe a couple too many cocktails, but hopefully I'm drinking in celebration of another Ferrari double podium. So let's do it.
Yep. As they say down under, good day. And as always, may all your laps be fast.